All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive with us. Today, we're going to be tackling something a little different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about the health of truck drivers, which I know sounds a little niche, but, we like to cover it all here at the deep dive.
We do love a deep dive.
We do, and this one I think is relevant to a lot of people.
Okay.
Even if you don't know a truck driver personally.
Yeah.
Because we're really going to be looking at some practical advice on how to stay healthy when you have a job that keeps you on the road a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's something that a lot of us can relate to.
Definitely.
Whether you travel for work or even if you're just stuck in a routine of being in an office all day and not really having a lot of control over your food options or when you can exercise.
It's easy to fall into bad habits.
Exactly. And that's what I found so fascinating about this deep dive is that it's not just for truckers. It's for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being.
Yeah.
But we are starting with the truck drivers today. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting is that a lot of the sources emphasize that it's totally doable.
What's totally doable?
To be healthy as a truck driver.
Oh.
Yeah, like it can seem really daunting.
Yeah. I mean, you're limited in terms of what you can eat and when you can exercise.
Exactly. You're in that truck for hours on end. You're probably tempted by all the fast food options at truck stops.
Yeah, and you're not exactly getting a lot of movement in.
Exactly. But our source today is actually a registered dietitian who specializes in working with truck drivers.
Oh, wow. So she knows her stuff.
She does.
Yeah.
And she really emphasizes that the key to healthy eating on the road is preparation, not deprivation.
I like that.
Yeah, it's not about restricting yourself.
Right.
It's about making smart choices easier.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah, so she really emphasizes meal prepping as a game changer.
Meal prepping?
Yeah, but forget those sad, soggy salads. We're talking about easy to pack meals that are both delicious and nutritious.
Like what kind of meals are we talking about?
Well, she gives a few examples.
Okay.
Like overnight oats with chia seeds and berries for a filling breakfast, or a quinoa salad with grilled chicken veggies for lunch.
See, those actually sound pretty good.
Right. They don't sound like deprivation.
No, not at all.
And they're all things that you can easily pack in a cooler and take with you on the road.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so she really stresses the importance of being prepared and not relying on truck stops for all of your meals.
Okay, I can see that.
But let's be realistic.
Okay.
Those truck stop diners can be tempting.
Oh, yeah.
I can practically smell the greasy fries now.
Me too.
But our source does have some clever alternatives.
Okay, I'm listening.
So she says, first of all, a lot of truck stops are evolving.
Evolving? How so?
Well, she actually quotes a recent study that found that more than 60% of truck stops now offer healthier options, like salads, grilled chicken, veggie wraps.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, so you don't necessarily have to settle for the burger and fries every time.
Right.
And she also recommends looking for dishes that are grilled, baked, or steamed rather than fried.
Okay, good tips.
Yeah. And then, of course, she reminds us to choose water over sugary sodas.
Hydration is key.
It is, especially when you're spending hours on the road.
Absolutely.
Speaking of which, this reminds me of a time I thought I could conquer a hike in the desert without enough water.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it did not end well. So we talked about eating right, but what about exercise?
So, yeah, that's the big one.
Right. How do you even begin to exercise when you're stuck in a truck for hours on end?
That's where our dietitian's advice really impressed me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's got a whole section in her book about realistic exercise for truckers.
Okay.
And she stresses that it's not about becoming a bodybuilder.
Right.
It's about incorporating movement into your day whenever possible.
So we're not talking about strapping a treadmill to the back of the truck.
No, definitely not. She actually starts with something super simple but super crucial.
What's that?
Stretching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she even quotes this physical therapist in her book who says, stretching is especially important for truck drivers who are prone to muscle stiffness and poor circulation from prolonged sitting.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like when you've been hunched over your computer for hours and your back is killing you.
Exactly. It's the same idea.
So what kind of stretches does she recommend?
Well, she suggests some specific ones that target the areas most affected by prolonged sitting.
Okay.
So hamstring stretches to alleviate tight leg muscles.
Right.
And shoulder rolls to loosen up the upper back and neck.
See, now those are stretches I can get behind. I can even do those at my desk.
Exactly. And then it gets even more interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, she talks about portable workout equipment.
Portable workout equipment.
Yeah. Like resistance bands?
Oh, resistance bands. Those take me back.
I know, right?
Like back to the 80s with the leg warmers and everything.
Exactly. But they're making a comeback.
Really?
Yeah, and for good reason.
Why is that?
Because they're incredibly versatile and effective. And they're perfect for truckers because they're small, lightweight, easy to pack.
So you could literally get a workout in at a rest stop with just a resistance band.
Pretty much. Wow.
And what kind of exercises can you do with the resistance band?
Oh, tons. Like bicep curls, tricep extensions, squats.
Oh, okay. So you can get a full body workout.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
And it's not even just about building muscle.
Right.
It's about staying active and keeping your blood flowing.
Which is so important.
It is. And you know what else? She even talks about the mental benefits of exercise.
Oh, really? Like what?
Well, she says that exercise can help reduce stress, improve focus, boost your mood.
That's so important, especially for a job that can be as mentally demanding as trucking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She actually quotes this study that found that even short bursts of exercise can have a significant positive impact on cognitive function.
Wow. So even taking a few minutes to stretch or do some resistance band exercises could make a big difference.
Exactly. It's all about finding those small ways to incorporate movement into your day.
Well, that's really encouraging to hear. And speaking of important things for staying healthy on the road, let's talk about sleep.
Oh, yeah. Sleep. Crucial.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
And, I've got to say, I was actually really surprised by how much emphasis the dietitian put on sleep.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't just the generic, get 8 hours advice.
Oh, no. She went beyond that.
Yeah, she went way beyond that. She had all these really interesting tips specifically for truckers.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Like, for example, she emphasizes the importance of establishing a regular sleep schedule, even on days off.
Even on days off. Why is that so important?
Well, she explains that our bodies thrive on routine.
Okay.
And when we maintain a consistent sleep-wake cycle, we're essentially regulating our internal clock,
I see.
which controls everything from our hormone levels to our body temperature. So even if you've been on the road all week and you're finally home for the weekend, she says you should still try to go to bed and wake up around the same time as usual.
Huh. Even if that means missing out on some fun weekend activities.
Well, she says it's actually the best way to avoid throwing off your body's natural rhythm.
That makes sense. I guess it's like how jet lag can really mess you up.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And then she also talks about the importance of creating a relaxing sleep environment.
Which I imagine can be tough in a truck.
Right. Like, I get anxious just thinking about trying to sleep in a moving vehicle.
Yeah, it's definitely not the ideal sleep sanctuary.
But she does have some helpful tips.
Okay, like what?
Well, she recommends investing in blackout curtains to block out light,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
and earplugs or noise-canceling headphones to minimize sound.
Right, because truck stops can be noisy.
Exactly. And then she also suggests making sure that the temperature in the sleeper cab is cool and comfortable.
Oh, yeah, temperature is huge for sleep.
It really is.
Yeah.
I actually have blackout curtains in my bedroom.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How do you like them?
They make a huge difference.
They really do.
And then, of course, she talks about, avoiding caffeine and alcohol before bed.
Right, which we all know we should do, but
Yeah, it's easier said than done.
it is.
But she stresses that getting enough sleep is essential for both your physical and mental health.
Which is something that truck drivers especially need to be mindful of,
Absolutely.
given the demands of their job.
Exactly. And speaking of mental health, let's not forget about stress management.
Oh, stress management. Yeah, that's a big one.
Right. Like, it's one thing to talk about eating right and exercising,
Right.
but how do you actually manage the stress of being on the road all the time?
Yeah, that's gotta be tough.
It is. And our dietitian recognizes that.
Okay.
She actually dedicates a whole section in her book to stress reduction techniques, specifically for truckers.
Oh, wow. So she gets it.
She does. She gets it.
Okay, so what kind of techniques does she recommend?
Well, she starts by emphasizing the importance of mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Okay.
Yeah, have you heard of that?
I have, yeah. It's
Yeah.
about like being present in the moment.
Right, exactly. It's about paying attention to your thoughts, feelings, and sensations in the present moment without judgment.
Right, so it's like a way to kind of quiet your mind.
Exactly.
Okay.
And she recommends some simple mindfulness exercises that truckers can do on the road, like focusing on their breath
Okay.
or paying attention to the sensations of their body.
Right, just like really tuning in.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And she also talks about the importance of deep breathing exercises.
Oh, deep breathing. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of deep breathing.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much of a difference just a few deep breaths can make.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's like an instant stress reliever.
It really is.
So mindfulness, deep breathing, what else?
Yeah. What else does she recommend?
Well, she also emphasizes the importance of staying connected with loved ones,
Oh, that's a good one.
which can be tough when you're on the road all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
But she says even just making time for a quick phone call or video chat with family or friends can make a world of difference.
Right. Just hearing a friendly voice.
Exactly. And then she also recommends finding healthy ways to unwind after a long day.
Okay, like what kind of things?
Things like listening to music, reading a book, taking a walk in nature.
Oh, those are all good ones.
Right. And she even suggests taking advantage of the scenery.
The scenery? What does she mean by that?
Well, truckers, they get to see some pretty amazing views while they're driving.
That's true.
So she suggests, taking a few minutes each day to really appreciate the scenery,
Okay.
whether it's a beautiful sunset, a mountain range,
Yeah.
just a wide open field.
Right. Just kind of like taking a moment to appreciate the beauty around you.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's easy to get caught up in the stress of the job and forget to appreciate the little things.
It really is.
So, we've talked a lot about the importance of taking care of your physical health,
Right.
eating right,
Mm-hmm.
exercising, getting enough sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's equally important to take care of your mental health,
Oh, absolutely.
especially when you have a demanding job like trucking.
For sure.
So speaking of things that can help with both physical and mental health, let's talk about tech.
Tech. Oh, this is interesting.
It is, right? Like, I have to admit, when I first saw the section in the dietitian's book about tech, I was a little skeptical.
Really? Why is that?
Well, I don't know. I just kind of pictured like those cheesy workout videos from the 80s
Yeah.
with the leg warmers and the headbands.
Yeah.
But I was actually pleasantly surprised.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she highlights some really cool and useful tech that can help truckers stay healthy on the road.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Well, for starters, she talks about fitness trackers,
Fitness trackers, okay.
which are great for monitoring your activity levels and sleep patterns.
Right, and there are so many different options available now.
There are. It's kind of overwhelming.
It is.
But she says you don't need anything fancy.
Okay.
Even a simple pedometer can be helpful for tracking your steps.
Right, just to kind of give you a baseline.
Exactly. And then if you want something more sophisticated, you can always upgrade to a smartwatch,
Right.
which can do everything from tracking your heart rate to sending you text message notifications.
Right. It's like having a personal assistant on your wrist.
Yeah, exactly. And then she also talks about health apps,
Health apps, okay.
which can be incredibly helpful for everything from tracking your food intake to finding healthy recipes.
Oh, yeah, those are great.
There are so many amazing health apps out there now.
There are. It's kind of mind-boggling.
I know it's like having a personal trainer, a nutritionist, and a therapist all in your pocket.
It really is amazing.
And the best part is that most of these apps are free or very affordable,
That's true.
so they're accessible to everyone.
Right, you don't need a lot of money to take advantage of those resources.
Exactly. And then she gets into something that I found really interesting.
Okay, what's that?
Telehealth.
Telehealth, okay.
I have to admit, I didn't really know much about telehealth before reading this dietitian's book.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with it either.
Well, it's basically the use of technology to deliver healthcare services remotely.
Okay, so instead of having to go to a doctor's office, you can just have a virtual appointment.
Exactly. You can have a video chat with a doctor or a nurse from anywhere in the world.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is. And she says this is especially beneficial for truck drivers who are often on the road and may not have easy access to healthcare.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so telehealth can be a game changer for truckers.
It sounds like it.
It allows them to get the care they need without having to take time off work or drive long distances.
Right, because that's time and money that they're losing.
Exactly. And it's not just for emergencies either.
Really?
You can use telehealth for everything from routine checkups to managing chronic conditions.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's a rapidly growing field. And I'm glad she mentioned it in her book because it sounds like a really valuable resource for truckers.
It does.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from food and exercise to sleep, stress management, and tech.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think the main takeaway is that staying healthy on the road is possible.
It is. You just have to be proactive.
Exactly. It takes planning. It takes effort.
Right.
But it's worth it.
It is, because your health is your most valuable asset.
It is. And, whether you're a truck driver or not,
Mm-hmm.
I think we can all learn something from the tips and strategies that we've discussed today.
Absolutely. Like, we all have those days where we feel stressed or burnt out.
Right. We all struggle with finding time for healthy habits.
Exactly.
So even if you're not driving an 18-wheeler, I hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought.
Me too. And maybe even inspired you to make some positive changes in your own life.
I hope so too. And on that note, we'd love to hear from you, our listeners.
Yes, please share your thoughts with us.
Have you tried any of the tips we've discussed today? Or maybe you have your own healthy habits that you swear by.
We want to hear it all.